Ting. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are
Easy.
you?
Good. How are you? It didn't work on my laptop, so I thought I'd do it on my phone.
Oh, look, yeah, look, technology is a little bit of a funny thing. Sometimes it works on certain devices, on some devices it just doesn't. But it's okay. It's all new as well for me
Sure.
as well. How are you going?
Good, good. Very busy, but very good.
Good.
How about yourself?
Yeah, we're busy as well. As you know, Victoria, Melbourne, we're
Yeah,
pretty much marked
lockdown.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's you are in New South Wales, right? So you don't have this issue.
not at all. So I'm in North New South Wales, Newcastle. So yeah, no issue. Unfortunately we can. Well, unfortunately for you guys, we can travel around wherever we want. So yeah.
I know, like you recently posted something about going to the dinner with your family, and I was like, no. Well, I was literally like, no way. How can different states could be in a completely different state of
Yeah, I know.
physical state, mental state, and it's just very incredible how everything could be different in every single state.
Oh,
But yeah,
absolutely.
look, it's I know. So, Gav, I'm very excited to have you here tonight because I think that insurance is that type of the topic that a lot of people, I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken, maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people that don't really realize how important it is. And I
Yes.
think a lot of people don't understand what actually insurance is, what types of insurance actually exist.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they're looking at the deal, like packages and stuff, they really like scrolling down very quickly and they don't really think thorough about what is actually included into insurance.
Yeah.
Um, and I was thinking maybe because you've got a great experience, like 20 years in the business.
Yeah.
Um, would you just like to start off just pretty much in your own like couple of sentences, very simple thing. What is actually insurance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, look, good question. Look, insurance is basically protecting either your business, or your personal assets in case they are lost, stolen, damaged, in case you're sued, in case someone else is physically hurt, or if your reputation is hurt. That's basically what insurance is. So, really quickly, it's like home, contents, and car. Everyone knows about car insurance. If you hit someone,
Yeah,
you've got to pay.
yeah,
You've got to pay to fix their car. If you've got insurance, insurance will pay it for you. It's the same with the business world, whether it be liability or indemnity or cyber, or marine insurance. So if you've got say a financial planning insurance, um, you have uh, giving advice. If you're off or they're not happy with your advice, they can sue you. There's insurance in case
yeah.
you are sued. Therefore, um, yeah, you can sue court costs. Cyber, if you're hacked, what happens with all that data? Basically, all that it entails everything like that.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Well, I think that because there's a different types of insurance, because I know that your focus is more like a risk insurance, like if somebody
Yes.
injured at work, right? So that's kind of your side of the business. Um, so so
More,
what's
more.
so your focus is Mhm.
Sorry, more. It was
Yeah,
more about if not so much the income protection or life insurance, not that sort of thing. We've got accident and sickness insurance, but it's more about
mhm.
if you're a carpenter, and you need your tools covered. What happens if a plank falls down from the roof and hits someone? They're going to sue you. You've got damages. It's insuring people's business to make sure that they're fully covered, so it's less expense to yourself if something should happen.
Okay. So say your clientele is more of the people who are contractors, subcontractors, or like a bigger companies who, for example, hire subcontractors. So
Yep.
who is your actual client most of the time, like in the market? Like what's your niche?
Niche. My niche is what they call small to medium business. So, for example, like you
Hmm.
said, a contractor or a subcontractor or a restaurant or a retail shop,
Hmm.
or a warehouse where they keep, like IKEA, they keep everything in there. You've got
Hmm.
contents, you've got, basically anyone that's small to medium business or a startup, that's who we like to insure.
Hmm. Fantastic. So you're busy now, right? So do you have a lot of
Yeah.
people actually asking you questions about
Yes.
insurance now? Like, are you busy in this time? Are you busier, or it's kind of the same?
No, much busier. Much busier.
Much busier?
Yeah.
How can you explain that? Is it because people realize that they really need to look at the um, like renew the insurance, look at the
Yep.
actual deal, what they have? It's more
Absolutely.
of the like really looking and sort of reviewing what they already have,
Yep.
and like seeking for advice from you to actually say, look at it and say, hey, well, you're actually not covered for 20 meters. Yeah, you covered only for 10. Yeah, for
Yes.
example. So
Absolutely. That's a perfect example. So you have, say, a hairdresser or a solar panel installer. I had one this week, and they've come to me and they've gone, I've got this insurance policy. Um, there's 52 pages. I'm not going to read 52 pages. I just look at how much I owe, that I've got
yeah,
liability cover, and I pay it. That's it. And if nothing goes wrong,
yeah,
that's fine. The problem is, like I said to him, how high do you go? Like you said, oh, I go 20, 30 meters. I look at the policy, you're only covered for 10. So if you go 1
mm-hmm,
meter above that and there's an accident, you're not covered. So just
yeah,
little things like that. You need to know what you're covered for, because not every insurance policy for saying liability is the same. There's different
yeah,
exclusions and there's different conditions.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And for example, if you've got so you're pretty much looking case by case. Yeah, you don't
Yep.
like it's not like anything is generic. So the
No,
your point of difference of your business, that you it's very tailored to every single customer, right? So it's just
absolutely.
my so it's more of the customized, like you're looking at the circumstances here, at the restaurant, for example, what's the square meter, yeah, how many people working in the restaurant
Yep,
and stuff like that. Yes, you're looking case by case, and it's,
absolutely.
I guess that the point of difference is the business person as the owner. Yep.
Absolutely. You've got to cater to each individual business. Each individual business has a different turnover, a different number of staff. They do different things. Like you say, a
Yep.
restaurant serves food. A construction company builds houses. So different insurance for different occupations, and different occupations, every single insurance has different conditions and, yeah, like I said, different exclusions. And a lot of people don't realize that some exclusions on there, because there could be quite a lot. If they don't read it from
Yep.
cover to cover, they don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes you go to insurer like I mean medical insurance, which is
Yeah.
it's completely out of the different kind of industry. But I probably mentioned to you in the past that I came to I'm not going to say which insurer it was, but pretty much everything we were paying at some point, like some part of it, were not actually related to what I needed.
Yes.
And we pretty much scaled down because we didn't really need it, but we continue paying for something we actually not didn't need it, and nobody actually told us that.
Yes.
So it's kind of
Sure.
waste of money, it's a waste of time, and I think with you kind of more tailoring the solutions for every single client to
Yep.
buy, not just buy, everybody in the same boat. No, it's all kind of separately by case, and this is the point of difference. Um, yeah, so, why did you become insurance broker? What was, I know it's probably keep track, but it's important part because it's about inspiration, like your passion. Where did it come from? Like, why? What's your why?
That's a great question. Look, I've done a few things in the past. I've done financial planning. I've done funds management. I sort of landed in insurance actually in New Zealand, and just learnt about basically asset protection. So a lot of people, I just realized a lot of people aren't knowledgeable in insurance because it's not their business. They're doing their own thing. They don't know what they're protected for. And like I keep hearing, if you don't want to claim, then you don't have to worry. But that's the whole purpose of insurance. So I just started off
Yeah.
in a call center on the insurance side. Then when I moved back to Australia from New Zealand, I went into an international brokerage. So I was actually looking after $25 million homes and sort of making sure they're completely protected, whether they're in their home or whether they're in France or Russia. They've got to be complete, like, $25,000 rings, $300,000 paintings. It was amazing. Then I came to Newcastle. I went to a smaller brokerage. Then I sort of looked at
Mm-hmm.
everything and thought, I can see what they're doing right, and I can see what they can
Yep.
improve on in relation to the customer and be more customer centric. So I decided, well, let's form our own brokerage and see where we go from here. Let's cater to a specific type of business and a
Mm-hmm.
specific type of person, and let us
Mm-hmm.
basically educate the clients and educate the customers on what they're actually covered for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a very important point because a lot of people they don't really know what they're covered for, and
Not at all.
I think that's the point of different deals that it's a very individual, it's very private kind of matter.
Yes,
Yeah, so I guess this is the kind of the most important on your behalf. Um,
absolutely. Hi, Dylan and Sophie.
so what's your yeah, there's someone you know. So if it's not a secret, how many clients do you have?
Uh,
I
at
know it
the
could be a hard question, but like roughly.
probably about 400 or 500. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. So about 400 or 500
wow.
clients, mostly small to medium businesses or homeowners. And yeah, so they basically rely on me. What I find interesting is they don't just rely on me for their insurance needs, but because I've got a lot of trades, a lot of medium companies as well, they sometimes ask me, "Oh, do you know a good accountant? Do you know a good mortgage broker? Do you know a good carpenter?" And because I've got all these people
Mhm,
around me, I can then introduce
mhm.
them to another client, and it's sort of like introducing people as well, and I love doing that as well.
Yeah,
So it's great.
absolutely. Well, yeah, I can see you're very passionate about it. Uh, what was what was your you don't have to say like the names and stuff, but what was the challenging case you had? Like the case when you said, oh wow, like I can't, it's so much involved, but then you delivered and then you thought,
Yep.
wow, I've done it. Like,
Yep.
is it a particular case that could be challenging for you, like a restaurant business or construction zone, anything that could be more like you
Yep.
thinking, wow, how I'm gonna do this?
How I had a client actually in Melbourne, who had a rather large farm, and he had an
Mhm,
insurance policy, and he was very price conscious, and he didn't want what we call accidental damage cover. So he had the coverage for bushfire, flood, hail, storm, but he didn't have accidental damage cover. And I tried to convince him it's a better coverage. It was obviously um, are a little bit it was a little bit more than what he wanted to pay, and so it was challenging. So I had to sort of basically convince him. He
mhm,
he actually finally agreed and said, "I'll give you 12 months. I don't want to pay this
mhm,
premium, but
mhm.
I'll do it anyway." 3 months later, he lost his farm in the fire, in the
Oh,
bushfires,
wow.
completely lost. One of the additions
Mm,
to the policy is 12 months free accommodation, or accommodation up to 20% of his sum insured. He was in a hall, being evacuated. Called him up, said, "Mate, the fact that you got the better cover, you can now go. I think
mhm.
it's like $50,000 or $60,000 worth of rent, for 12 months while his
Yep.
farm gets rebuilt." So at the start, he didn't
Mhm,
want to get the policy. He didn't think he needed the additions that was on there. But in the end, that's exactly what he needed. I find that with a lot of clients where they don't look at the full policy. They just look at what they want to get covered for. And once
yep.
they find out there's a
Yep.
lot more
Yep.
involved, and once you educate them, it's much, much easier.
Yeah, because sometimes some of the customers, like potential clients, like in the shoes of the client, they're thinking, I need to be covered for this, 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 and that,
Yep.
because this is what my three concerns,
Yep.
but they don't look outside of the scope. Like
Yep.
they don't think that bushfires, obviously in Australia, happens every
Yes.
year. Yeah, it was terrible. But they really need to look outside of the scope, and I guess separate what's really important from what could be maybe possibly not important, like at
Yep.
that stage. Do you help them to make that decision? Yeah, that
Absolutely.
sort of,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So
yeah.
when if they ring an insurance company direct, the insurance company asks the questions. You say, well, what do you want? They
Hmm.
say, this is what I want. They go, well, this is the price. Done. As a broker, it's more than just listening to what they want. You've actually got to go, well, what about this? What about that? Like most people, there's a insurance called management liability. Now, anyone that's got
Hmm.
employees needs management liability. No one knows what it is. Like no one. When I ask people what it is, most people don't even know about it. What management liability
Hmm.
is if your employee gets fired or they leave and take a grievance out on you, or they steal or something like that, you've got something to cover you in case they take you to court. So pretty much any business that has employees really should have management liability, but a lot of people don't know exists because it's not like
Yeah.
you don't sort of look, if you don't know, you don't know. So yeah, look, it's my job is to educate people on what they don't know.
It's more of the even some sort of a, you need to be in a way, you need to know the law. You need to
Yes,
be, it's nearly like you need to know all of that, yeah, jurisdiction. Yeah, that if
yes,
that's the word. But you need to
yep,
understand, because some people, they, out of the different backgrounds, they wouldn't know. But
no,
then some people, sometimes they don't trust particular insurers. They're thinking, oh, they're just
yes,
trying to. But I guess if you honest with them and you say, oh, this is what you need, yeah,
yep,
this is what can happen.
yep,
This is a law, this is what's going to happen. I guess they can leave it or take it. Yeah, there's the
yep,
two options. And I
absolutely,
guess that farmer, did he give you a good review? Did he
absolutely.
really,
It was
did you provide a great review shared around Newcastle insurance across the board?
absolutely.
You should.
I got three other farms out of it because he couldn't believe that he was completely covered. So that was really good. But yeah, look, it is like that. It is once people know other people. Um, what what you need is once you do a good by someone, then they will speak to other people, and then they will come to you, and
Yeah,
that's happening at the moment.
yeah.
So one example that I'm finding quite regularly is a thing called Hotworks. Now, Hotworks in insurance term, most people think it's like welding. Now, when you weld, the
Hmm.
sparks come out, that sort of
Hmm.
thing.
Yep,
And so people say, oh, do you
yep.
do Hotworks? The first thing they think of is, oh, welding. No, I don't do it. But if you drill, if you cause any sort of sparks at all, that is called Hotworks. Now, if they don't know that, and then say a
Wow.
carpenter very rarely welds. But if they're drilling a lot,
Hmm.
even metal drilling, and there's sparks, that's called hot works. And if they don't know, if they don't tell the insurance company that they're doing it, and something happens, it catches fire and it's not properly done, then that claim will be declined. But a lot of people don't know that. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't have that knowledge of definition. And it sounds technical and boring, but if you're a carpenter or you're a fabricator or something like that, you need to know what you do will affect if something does actually claim.
Okay, yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of how do you have to keep getting I mean constantly educated about new
Yes.
laws, new
Yep.
policies? Do you have to be like on training all the time? Because
Yep.
it sounds like it's a bit of a law, so you need to know what the government up all its updates happening all the time. Like you,
Well,
you probably have to read all
oh
the
yeah.
time and scroll down and yeah,
Oh,
am I right?
every
Yeah.
week. Every week, because each insurer is always updating. It's always updating their policy
Okay.
wordings. Like I even got someone a couple of weeks ago that said, I want you to insure me for foiling. Now, nearly every insurer that I spoke about did not know what foiling was. What foiling is you put like a surfboard and it's got a big keel under the surfboard, so you actually elevate it. And he's coaching, he's importing hundreds of thousands of these things from China. Now,
Mm-hmm.
not only I did not know what it was, but the insurers that I spoke to did not know what it was. So then it was my job to
Mm-hmm.
educate myself on what it is, but then find an insurer that knows what it is and insure them properly. So, I mean, all he
Yeah.
knew was that. He didn't actually know anything about how to insure it. My job was to find that out, find the right insurer,
Yeah.
and I actually had to go all the way to London to actually find the
Wow.
insurer that would do it. So, and he wouldn't have known that. And yeah, so it's a bit of a knack.
Mm-hmm. So as far as I can see, all your clients, it's a word of the mouth. Yeah, it's B2B businesses. Yeah, businesses like, as you said, people who know you, or you're
Yep,
getting people just like people submitting their interest through your website.
yep.
How do you get the clients from? Are they more like people know each other, as you said, agriculture, farmers talk, or
Oh,
it's more like you get submissions?
we've got
Where they come?
yes, we've got client referrals. We have referral partners. So like accountants and financial planners and so forth will refer their clients to us. We have
Mm-hmm.
advertising, we have SEOs, Facebook, Instagram, those sort of things as well. We have a business, I don't know if you know BNI, business networking meetings. It's basically all of it's either advertising or referrals. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it could be good or it could be bad. If your reputation is bad, everyone tells everyone and it's gone. If your
Mm-hmm.
reputation is good, same thing. People will tell people, and you've just got to keep doing a good service. Make sure your prices are
Mm-hmm.
competitive. Make sure you are knowledgeable. I'm lucky enough
Mm-hmm.
that, but 80% of the people that come to me that already have insurance aren't
Mm-hmm.
adequately covered. They're either underinsured or
Oh.
there's a clause or an exclusion in their policy that they didn't know about, and either the insurer
Mm-hmm.
or the broker that they're currently with didn't tell them properly. Um, the other
Mm-hmm.
side, though, really quickly, that we haven't spoke about is claims. Now, unless you can claim for what you either the damage that is caused or anything, then insurance is useless. My job is to, so
Mm-hmm.
if someone claims, they don't go to the insurer. I go to the insurer. I represent the client, and I make sure
Yeah.
that the client is adequately, that the claim goes through fast, gets the right amount of money, the costs are all covered,
Yeah.
and they're left without any out-of-pocket expenses.
Yeah, it's like you're advocating on their behalf, but the way
Absolutely. Yep.
you're doing that in a professional way because you know which questions you need to ask,
Yes.
yeah, and how to approach. Because if people don't know, it's like they would ask questions, but the answers they would get wouldn't exactly right answers. So
That's
I
right.
guess
Yep.
you advocate, like you're giving them professional advice, and it's
Yep.
more efficient in the long
Yes.
run rather than people trying to do them themselves and being stressed, being
Yes.
time pressured and stuff like that. And yeah, that's a good one.
Stress.
Yeah, that's
Stress and
amazing. I think stress is like a fundamental thing because people don't
yes.
want to stress. They want to stress
No.
less these days. They want to
Yep.
just give your business to, not your business, but they want to give some case to professional,
Yep.
and professional just looks after it because you
Absolutely.
can't do it all these days.
No.
Um, by the time you're sorting insurance, life goes on, you have to work, you have to run your business.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it looks like it's a great story. It was absolutely pleasure to voice it in my blog as well, because
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
anyone who is watching tonight, I found out so many different details, and I realized I didn't put them in the blog at all,
Okay.
because I just didn't know that. It's really
Yes.
like I feel I need to talk to everyone before I write because there's so many different situations, the key
Aspects. Yeah.
points that you don't really know. But yeah, the story of Gaff is available in UB's blog as well. But it was great to have you tonight because, like,
Thank you. Thanks
honestly,
for having me.
I really structured some certain things in my brain, and maybe if if I run my own business, I probably would go to broker because like I would need to know exactly what I'm covered for. Like I don't want to
Absolutely. Yeah.
guessing, sitting
And don't
guessing,
and don't pay,
am I covered?
don't
So,
pay too much, and don't pay too much for the coverage that you've got as well. That's the other
yeah,
thing.
that's,
You got to be adequately. You
that's,
got to pay the right premium. A lot of people pay too much, and that's my
yeah,
job as well, to save money.
I know. That's great. Save money and save time. So
That's
that's
right.
two fundamental important things for humanity. Save time and save. That's what we need right now.
Absolutely.
um, it was absolutely great to have you tonight. Like, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having 40 minutes already. We're talking.
Wow,
Um,
time flies.
yeah, I know it's a lot of people watching as well, which is great, which is fantastic. Shane is saying you hello as well. My
Thanks,
daughter is
Dan.
saying hello.
Hello.
I'm happy to chat to you privately about little interaction maybe with your wife as well very
Yes.
soon. So I'm quite excited about it. And I have one question: how does she do it and why? That's my question. Why? What's your why about Russian? Yeah, but
Long story, but she'll
uh,
tell you.
it's a long story. But look, it's just it's interesting. It's unusual. It's very
Yes.
unusual. Um, Thank you so much. You have a lovely dinner. Have a lovely weekend.
You too.
And thank you for being tonight.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.